I'm going to go over these. Okay. So, I want to just bring to light some different stressors that you have in your life that you maybe haven't even thought of. So, there's a list here, and I'd like you to check off, as we'll go down them one at a time. If you eat refined sugar, I want you to go ahead and put a checkbox next to that. That's anything that's refined sugar is anything in processed foods, table sugar, that's refined sugar. If you have sleep problems, go ahead and check that. If you have digestive problems, check that. If you eat commercial food, that's non-organic, not certified organic food. If you drink alcohol, check that. If you eat processed food. If you have weight gain. If you had extreme weight loss. If you eat table salt, that's iodized table salt. If you have a reduced calorie diet. If you're asleep after 10 p.m., if you skip meals, check that. If you use a microwave oven, check that one. If you travel across time zones, let's say more than once every 2 months. If you experience anxiety, if you drink tap water, it's just straight out of the tap. And if you use artificial sweeteners, and if you eat white bread. What time? Go to bed by, do you go to bed before? So if you fall asleep after 10. Once you finish those, you can do the bottom in a little bit. So what I want to get across to you is that each of these things are stressors. They are putting a stress load on your whole body, your whole system. So yes, on the bottom, if you can, go ahead and check one of those. The first box, if you want to get a chance for the free $20.11 enrollment, and check that. And then you can just set those under your chair, and we'll collect those at the end. So let me just get a quick hand raise here. If you checked off they eat refined sugar, raise your hand. Okay. If you checked off that you have sleep problems, raise your hand. Okay. If you checked off that you eat processed food, raise your hand. Okay. I'll just do a couple more. If you checked off that you skip meals, raise your hand. Okay. And the last one, if you use artificial sweeteners, raise your hand. Okay. Good. All right. So I just want to get an idea of what everybody's lifestyle is like, so I know what to kind of talk about a little bit more here. So there's different types of stress. We're going to talk about the different types of stress, and we're going to talk about the effects on your hormone system that stress has, and that's where the title of this is Stress Making Your Pants Tight comes into play, because it has an effect on your hormonal system. And then we're going to talk about how to manage these stressors. I'm going to give you, at the end of this, I'm going to give you a checklist of things that you can start to do and eliminate in order to decrease the stress load in your life and in your body. So here are some different types of stress. We've got chemical, we've got physical, we've got the mental. You know about the mental. That's in your head all the time. We've got electromagnetic, we've got nutritional stress, we've got emotional, and we've got spiritual stress. So we know, like I said, about the mental, we know about the emotional, but what we don't understand is that they all kind of funnel into your body. So this is probably the most important thing to understand, that stress summates, and that just means that every stress, your body's blind to what kind of stress it is. Your body just knows that it's stress. And the response is that a high stress load gives you an inability to heal and an inability to build health. And you can't lose weight. You can lose weight, but you can't lose weight healthily unless you're healthy. You have to have the foundation of health and healing to be able to truly lose weight, keep it off, and remain healthy and fit. So what has to happen is these different stressors that are all funneled together have to get addressed. And the easiest ones are the nutritional ones and some of the physical ones that you have. So what's the effect of stress? I want to explain to you something, what's called the autonomic nervous system in your body. The autonomic nervous system is kind of the control center that controls all the behaviors of different organs and glands in your body that you don't typically consciously control. So this may be certain glands like your adrenal glands, or it might be digestive system. You don't have to think to digest, it just happens. So all these different things in your body are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. In this system, there's actually two branches. So we can think of it like a seesaw, and it needs to be kind of balanced. Okay? The one side of this seesaw is the sympathetic branch. The sympathetic branch is related to stress hormones. It's related to increasing your heart rate and respiration. So essentially, to put it simply, if you see a bear in the woods, the reaction in your body, that's your sympathetic nervous system turning on. And when that turns on, digestion is decreased, you've got an increase of stress hormones, you've got a decrease of repair and rebuild hormones. And so that's where the majority of people are. Because we've got that big funnel of stressors, the ones that we don't even think about, and the seesaw is just tilted to one side. The opposite side, this is a push-pull system between the sympathetic and parasympathetic. The opposite side, the parasympathetic, is your rebuild and regenerate side of your nervous system. And so it's important because it's the most active while you're sleeping. So hopefully you're sleeping well, because that's when your body starts to find some of its balance. So these are the two systems that are affected by stress or by the elimination of stress. But here we are in our society, and we've got tons of stressors. You checked off a bunch of them on that list. And what we're doing is we're tipping that seesaw to one side. So my funny little analogy is the heavy guy on the seesaw. Well, that's essentially where we are. We need to have some balance. And not getting enough sleep, having too much sugar, watching TV before you go to bed, on the computer before you go to bed, lack of a spiritual connection, lack of a higher purpose, not having fun and